Okay, so since no one really gets to see exactly how glitchy or how poor performing this website is, I'm going to actually record it because I don't think anyone believes when I say I can get through one part of a transaction and then the system crashes, causing the users to have to close the browser, clear their history in their cache, reopen to complete the transaction, and then you have to do that each step of the way. But this has been stuck now for probably 3 minutes on this screen while I've prepared the phone to record this. That's the BOL after I have digitally signed and it not doing anything with the transaction. And notice it's non-responsive when you click on the X in the upper window, or if you close on this here, it's just absolutely completely frozen. Depending on my level of frustration, it's going to get very colorful. Okay, so this was the transaction that it seized on right here. So I got to digitally sign it. It stalled after digitally signing it. Now I have to complete the transaction. And for shits and giggles, we are 4 minutes and 30 seconds into this video, and I haven't even been able to get to the damn product. So, error message trying to open up the DD214. On form, nothing's coming up. I can go to history, I can see that I digitally signed it and accepted it, but I'm trying to get the system to open up the DD214 so I can go into the form section and try to convince the product to work, or the website. As you can see, look at how long it's taking to load 363 kilobytes of data, which is 0.3 of a megabyte, and it can't even load 0.3 of a megabyte? Jesus. Come on. Jesus, come on. Oh my God. So I can see that I digitally signed it. Let's see if I can go to form and save and just disseminate to member, or if it's going to lose the form. Keep in mind, I just cleared all my browsing history before opening this. I'm at least 5.5, 6 minutes into it, and I've still not been able to complete the same transaction that I started 10 minutes ago. So you go to form, half the screen should show the DD214 down here. The other ones, I should be able to do something with the copies. This can't even load. Jesus. And this is not an uncommon occurrence. It's important to also mention NMCI just returned my computer yesterday morning because they've had it for a few days. They re-imaged the whole computer. So this is the best refurbished piece of garbage that we have available to us. With 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'm going to try to go into the same transaction. That's what it's supposed to look like when it eventually opens. You see how long it took to open. Okay, so the save worked successfully. It's in my folder. Now I can disseminate to the member. You have to allow it time to cycle back through, otherwise it won't be there for you. I'll show you where it will not be there for you after signing one and accepting it. Now to make sure that it actually was disseminated to the member. So member received their copies, supposedly. And now I can complete the transaction. I can mark it on my spreadsheet that the DD214 is complete. Save it so I don't lose it. I gotta go back to the start process to refresh the screen, because if I go straight to another transaction, it errors and I gotta go through the whole reboot process again. I'll show you that in a second. Let's see how fast I can get through one from scratch, if at all. Stuck trying to load it. I cannot get through one single DD214 without having to start the browser twice. When it stalls here, I have to close it, reopen it. I can digitally sign it. Then I'm going to have to open or close and reopen. And then I'll be able to finish the disseminating to the member. But clearly you can see this is an issue. It's still locked up and not loading the DD214. What a wonderful product. And oh, by the way, you can't hit the X because it's not responsive. You can't hit this X because it's not responsive. You got to close the browsers. I'm waiting for the browser to reopen. "13 minutes we're at. I've gotten through one, and actually it took longer than 13 minutes to get through that one because I was already hung up on a stalled screen after already signing. I already clicked it, it had been sitting there, I click it again, and then it turns to not responding. So I had to make sure I wasn't going crazy that I pressed OK, and I just verified I did. What you can't see is it's scrolling, even though I clicked OK twice. Once for good measure, just again to prove I'm not going crazy to myself. and we're waiting for it to actually execute the button click. So I didn't even get to open one to start working it because it stalled as I tried to open it. So while it's trying to open, I put on here that I'm pending AO signature. So that way when it gets hung up, I know exactly whose it got hung up on, rather than having to scroll through hundreds of DD214s to see which one's hung up. So 16.5 minutes into it, I've only been able to complete one, and I haven't even been able to load a second. And this is my lifetime, 67 DD214s per week. Or more. And people wonder where I get my sunny disposition. So I'm going to close out of that transaction and try to reopen. As you can hear, it's colors, and I'm still here. At 2015. And the browser is stalled again, and I didn't even get to do a single one this time. This is fucking ridiculous. What you didn't see as system interruptions was 95%. That's why I laughed, because it's ridiculous. I gotta find it. Where was it? At 100% of my system resources. Ridiculous. Okay. Task manager. Come on, let me close a browser. won't even let me close the browser. $20. I have rebooted twice today. First thing in the morning and then about 1100. I certainly do not want to restore the session because the session was volatile as it was, so I'm not going to click on that. Straight to BOL. Okay, to the not responding, so I already clicked it once, it wasn't doing anything with it. There's colors. What you can't see is the window bar, it's scrolling. All right, here's my transactions. I'm going to try to get into this for at least a third time. So I've now clicked Edge 3 times. I don't like Edge. It doesn't seem to work as good and as dependable as Internet Explorer. But right now, Internet Explorer isn't working too well. So I figured, what the hell else do I have to lose? I've been 26 minutes into this and I haven't even done a new DD214. What do I have to lose? Well, Edge won't load. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Jesus Christ. So because they re-imaged my computer, all of my favorites were lost. So I need to resave this. Maybe I can get through one. Not responding. Shocker. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I have to keep checking to make sure my phone is still recording because I don't know how long it'll go on. That's right. Let's see how long Internet Explorer will take to load compared to Edge. Damn you, come on. So Edge hasn't even loaded to the document services site. And boom, Internet Explorer has. Hence why I don't use Edge. So anyone that wants to tell me I'm using the wrong browser, Edge sucks. And Google Chrome doesn't work well with BOL, in my experience. Might work well with other things, but it's not the preferred for this. And in a handful of minutes, this computer's going to become a frisbee out the window. Edge is still trying to load. This one is already loaded and froze. Edge hasn't even loaded. This is a little uncommon that it is this bad, but it is bad ordinarily. Just not ordinarily this bad. Well, shit. Let's see how Chrome does. no faith that this is ever going to open. Right now it's just taking up resources, so I'm going to close it. This one here, I'm going to close down Internet Explorer. Well, I can't. I got to do it this way, or Task Manager. Come on. My issue with Google Chrome is my Adobe doesn't work well on this. I'm supposed to be able to see a DD214 so that way I can actually digitally sign it, but for whatever reason my Adobe Reader plugin does not work with my Google Chrome. Ultimately, this is supposed to open up and show the DD214. On my personal laptop, I can get to it. But I don't get cell signal inside the building in order to do a mobile hotspot, so that way I can use my personal laptop, because I've already tried it. Because this is torture working on these assets, these NMCI seats. Am I exaggerating about how crappy these systems are and how this website is horrible? I think not. Shit, 39, almost 40 minutes. You haven't even seen a full process. Okay, so around the CAC login, it's already got its little things around it, which means I've already button clicked it once. I'll do it again. I'll get a message saying unresponsive, but at least I know that I'm not going crazy. I did do it. Hey, it worked. Let's see. Okay. Unbelievable. Ordinarily, it takes about 10 minutes, sometimes 15 per transaction or per DD214 because of how slow my internet connection is, the fact that I only have 4 gigabytes of RAM, I'm using a computer that's over 10 years old, and the website sucks. But in 42 minutes, you haven't seen a complete DD214 transaction executed. You've only seen half of one be completed. You might as well stay on the journey with me. Okay, this is the third time I'm rebooting today. Because that's the way every computer is supposed to work, right? Have to reboot 3 times daily? And the BOL part is only a portion of the job. Because everything has to start with NSIPs. And then migrate in. This is supposed to be the fastest part of the job. Because everything is created in NSIPs. This is only supposed to be a formality in order to digitally sign. Don't mind this other monitor here, it doesn't work. Life would be too easy if I could actually spread out all of the different screens I need to be on, but now I gotta sit there and toggle back and forth on 2 monitors, which some people don't have 2 monitors, so I'm pretty fortunate. So before I get to the 1 hour mark, let's see if I can completely reboot and do at least 1 full DD214 for you. At 1 hour though, of recording and not having any productivity, I'm gonna stop the recording so that way you don't see what happens next. So you only have 14 and a half minutes left of this hell. things have populated, except it still hasn't finished opening up all of the applications on the system tray. And over here on the start tray, nothing is started there either. So it's still executing all these background applications that need to load before I can do anything. You'll see them pop on periodically. But how long has it been going just to reboot? I don't know when I started, but I'm at 49 minutes now. Okay. All right, in the system tray, all of the stuff that runs behind the scene for the intranet is loading, and for the VPN, I'm waiting for Pulse because Pulse is the slowest. I can't really start to do anything until after Pulse loads because it just delays the process to open. UiPath. So the NMCI field technician that came out had no idea what UiPath was. He uninstalled it, yet it's right back in there. This is why I dread rebooting. There goes Pulse. Still waiting for UI. There's UiPath. Now I can quit it. Okay. Internet Explorer. Almost 52 minutes. Oh, low bandwidth error message. Isn't that wonderful? Low bandwidth. Outstanding. That's why the NMCI field technician came and took my computer, because of that low bandwidth message. Ping is perfectly fine all the way up to the outlet. Completely reformatted hard drive and re-imaged software. So there's no idea what's causing the system to run so poorly with the internet. Mental note to myself, send them an email first thing in the morning to let them know that I'm still getting the low bandwidth message. God, let's hope we can get through one. Oh, at least now it's given me the watch, so it's trying to load. Device just sit at the blue screen, or the blue bar. All right. If I can get all the way through one and then stay in the same menu, the tasks or the queue, and click on another one, you'll see how it errors. It won't let you go from one to another without having to refresh your screen. Go back out and come back in. And according to the BOL help desk, there's no fix to that. God only knows why they have more than one on the menu, because you can only do one at a time. All right, the watch is thinking, it's doing its thing, it's going to close, boom. Okay, so you can't click on any of the other ones, it'll error. You have to click on start process, and oh, by the way, you got to give it 30 seconds and go back into there, because if you go in there too soon, it's not there to review and disseminate. I did that on purpose to prove it's not there. Okay, I don't know how long I've been talking in the process of doing this. Hopefully it's there when I go back in the to-do again. It's there. Now, one should not have to reboot their computer every X amount of DD214s, so it's bullshit, you have to. Let's make sure it's saved. Boom, it appears it is saved. Now I can send it to the member. Boom, boom. Go back out. Go back to to-do. It's there. Now, let me make sure it completed all of the steps. It sent it to the member, as well as it accepted my signature. So now I can complete the transaction, and one is finally done. Holy shit. Now, how many minutes? 57 minutes. Now, watch this. I'm going to go into the next one. I don't know what the fuck that is, but... Oh! Beats the hell out of me why this decides to come up, but go away. Alright. So now we have the next DD214 up. I'm going to proof it, make sure all of the codes came across correctly. They did. And let's see if it errors. Make sure that I choose who I'm on, so that way when it has a glitch. There's Spencer. There's Spencer. Okay, I can't do this one. I have to disapprove it. I put notes in on my spreadsheet. I can't do this one. All right, thank goodness that I had my notes there. Lichens. There it is. Boom. So you can't just roll through your menu because it error encountered while signing. So now I will leave it, go back to the start process, go to do, load that same person up again, and let's see if it'll allow us to actually go through it. So I've now demonstrated how you can't just go through the cycle through the menu. You have to leave and get back in. I saw everything and I thought this looks like Groundhog's Day because I just did this. Yes, this is the one that it errored on. Ah, see, it fucking errored again. So now the only way to overcome the error is you gotta close the browser. Go back in. We gotta be getting close to 60 minutes for you. So this is now the third time I've looked at this, right? Everything's still the same. So what's the importance that I stay here all night doing this shit? Because these people are supposed to detach tomorrow, and if I don't, they don't get to detach. And, oh God forbid, if I have a computer issue tomorrow and am not able to digitally sign, then they have to get delayed, their flights have to be changed. So there is no contingency when the website doesn't work or when the computer doesn't work. The only preparations I can do is I've got to stay as late as I can while I have a system that is working. That's okay. Who needs a personal life? By the way, I just went in and it's not there, is it? You can't see something pending for review. So, oh, by the way, this is yet another glitch. There, it finally popped up. So, earlier today, I did a transaction and it's hung up in BOL. It still hasn't released from AO signature for me to do the review and dissemination to the service member. Let's see if it's saved. Boom, 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 it's there. Sound effects are required. Okay, send it to the service member, boom, 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 it's gone. Let's let it do its thing. Gotta go out, go back in. Make sure that it transmitted to the member. It transmitted to the member, so it says, now I can complete it. And I mark it down on my spreadsheet that it's complete, of course, save it. Did I have to reclose or close and reopen the browser? I think I did. Yes, I did, because it got that error message when I tried to scroll through the menu. I'm gonna hold my breath that I'm gonna be able to have more progress. If it's gonna crash in the middle of signing, it's usually at that first one. The second one usually goes through without a glitch. Just to prove, it takes a long time to go between, so see, it's still not there. It's still not there. Finally there. Boom. So that's saved. Send a member. So the most DD214s I was able to get through in one session without it crashing have been 4, and then it starts to crash. I'm on the last one that I can sign today because the other one, I never reviewed the transaction. It was pushed through without my review, so I'm not going to sign it until I actually get an opportunity to review all of the supporting documentation. But ordinarily, I think this is the 3rd transaction. It would crash on the next one. And then that's where I have to get to the point where I have to close the browser, open it up, clear the history, clear the cache, then go back into the program. Right here. Right, it's there. Send a member. Boom. Boom. Down here. Okay. And that concludes our BOL experience for the people who have actually signed their stuff or marked it accurate and signed their transactions. The other people have either not signed them to put them in my queue, or they've not reviewed them and marked them as accurate yet. So have a wonderful, fine Navy evening.